Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Here you see I have taken some Deltec tape and kind of went around my drawing, my sketch there and cut that out. And I've prepared my panel by taping off the sides of it. And I have used gloss off instead of lightly sanding it because I found sometimes in my artwork little tiny light scratches, and I know that makes the paint stick better, but I kind of wanted to avoid that, so I have used like gloss off, like I don't know what it's called. It's like the stuff that you would put on cabinets before you painted, take the shine off, and it seems to be working fine, so that's what I'm going to be using from now on. But anyway, this Deltec tape you can get from Drew Blair School of Realism, and I really like the tape. It's very, very light and thin, and it's like a low tack, so it's not so sticky. I only wish they'd make it in clear, but you can still see through it if you have drawn on your panel or canvas kind of dark. You can still see your pencil lines through it. And I'm coming in here with just a light, yellow, and I'm kind of building up some color there, just lightly airbrushing over that. And I'm only using probably about 20 pounds of pressure and just kind of misting it. I'm holding my airbrush back about, I'd say 6 inches or so, maybe even more, and just kind of letting that paint kind of drop onto the panel instead of like flooding it with color. I'm using my, I think it's my PS 77, yes it is, and I'm just building color going around the sky there as I see it on the photo. Some of the colors will be different. As you know, I like to change things up. I don't like to do, I only like to do, like if I do a portrait, of course I want to do photorealism on that. If you're doing a portrait of somebody who wants their painting done, I want to try to achieve photorealism as much as possible on that. But I kind of, myself, I like to change things up if I do a picture or something. And I thought this was a relaxing scene for me, just looking at the sun setting and the birds flying above this sailboat, old-fashioned sailboat. I just thought it looked relaxing looking over the water. And of course, water is hard for me to do for some reason, and so I always want to try to work on water. Certain kinds I can do pretty well, but like when you're getting an ocean and all the waves and you're seeing all the ripples in it, that's one thing that I struggle with. So here I'm going to try to do better at it, learn as I go, so to speak. But it's just a process of building up color, and the dark areas, I'm adding onto the right side as you're looking at that. In the photo, there's a little bit of light blue and a light purple. That's going to be a little bit darker, I think, because I wanted to really bring out some more contrast to this and make it pop a little bit more, I guess. So I'm going to make that little bit darker as we view. And I'm sorry that this is out of frame. The picture itself is bigger than most pieces that I work on, and I didn't want it to look so far away, so I kind of made it as close as I could and still stay in some frames, but here I'm just taking a ripped piece of paper and I'm going in there and adding a little bit darker shade. I just add a couple drops of orange to this yellow and just going back over the yellow that I've already sprayed and making some deep clouds there. Building up. Here I've kind of changed the position a little bit so you can see a little bit more of what I'm doing. I am building some orange in there and darkening some areas. And then of course I'll be spraying a little bit of blue over that to make it really like a brownish color in the sky. My lighting system right now is not so great, so it's casting a shadow and not very happy with that. I have to fix it. As you know, I moved back up to my big shop and kind of closed down my little storefront there, and so I'm working in the big area, and I had to bring my lighting back. I don't have it all up yet. I guess I should say. And I am using E-Tac paint, and I'm going to share something with you guys, and you're going to think I'm crazy, and I might have already mentioned this. I used to put some acrylic clear pledge, and it has to be the pledge floor wax pledge, like you'd use, like, I don't know, to wax your floor. But I use a couple drops of that in the E-Tac paint because it was so easy to scratch. I love the way it flows. It flows like a urethane. But for fine art, I was like, nah, this won't work because, yourself, you got to use stencils and things and sometimes, and when you move it, you don't want the whole art piece to be ruined. So I'm like, there's got to be a way I can use this, because E-Tac's mostly a t-shirt paint. They do make the other series of it that you can use for fine art, but getting it in the US is very, very hard. So I put like 2 or 3 drops in a little cup with my mixture and mixed it up, and I had quite a bit, like say half of one of those little tiny 1-ounce cups of paint that I'm using, and then halfway full with a cup, like 2 or 3 drops of the clear pledge. You're gonna laugh at me, but it works. And I mix that up, and it still flows really, really well. And then after you let that dry, it does not scratch as easy. So hey, I fixed the problem I had. But the E-Tac does not come in as many colors, of course, as the Cretex illustration or the ink. So I'll still use those in with this other, and from time to time, and go with that. But tip dry on this paint is very rare, hardly ever. You might want to give it a try. I'm just really darkening up this one area in here that I see that on the photo. It's real dark up in between these cells up there, and of course that's what's really going to make those cells pop out with the color when it's removed. And I'm kind of blending it over on the right side, and the right side some blue and some purple is going to come in. You can tell my airbrush is far away, but I'm still just misting some different colors in there. And here I've already added some of the blue. I don't know what happened there. I think I must have had the camera, didn't have the camera on when I was painting probably, and then had to turn it back on. But I'm adding blue in here and then some pink up the top, I believe, mixed in with the blue. Kind of turns purple. So I'm kind of mixing these in. And then we'll be adding some highlights and stuff in there with some white around some areas where the clouds are popping through, showing on the sun that's going to be coming in. And this background's not so hard to do. It's just getting it the way you like it. And remember, it doesn't have to be exactly like the photo unless you want it to be exactly like the photo. And then putting in these little highlights give it that distant look. Sorry, I haven't been on here lately as much as I usually have. My granddaughter had an accident and been filling in at her shop, and it's just kind of left me without the time to really paint the way I was and to get things done. But family comes first, and helping her out and helping the business out, it really takes a toll. It's just a little pencil eraser. I'm just using that to take off some little black specks that came from somewhere. And I'm filling in some areas around that where I have to let the yellow pop out a little bit on those sails there, or it will look a little bit funny when I take the tape off in that area. And I'm using this ripped piece of paper to try to come down in here now and fill in a little bit where the water is going to be. And on this side where the water is, there's kind of a light cast of orange and yellow. So I'll be doing that first. And you can get, a better ripped piece of paper and rip it down to get your shading a little bit more correct than I did there. And I'm seeing where there's kind of maybe a cast off one of the cells that looks like it's going down in the water. So I sprayed that first so it would cast like a shadow in the water. And now I'm going back in and just slightly spraying here and there this light orange color. And then I'm going to the other side. I apologize that you can't see it. My camera's on the left side and I'm on the right. There you see I'm starting to add in that color, and I'm just using my airbrush freehand here. And it doesn't really matter if some of that overspray gets up in the sky because it's going to mix in with the yellow and it's going to look fine. The sky is always really lighter at the bottom of your photo, but since this is a sunset, it will be lighter on the water than it is on the sky. Coming across here and adding in some yellow into that orange. Making sure I get that correctly up there at the sail, because we don't want it to look like it's just chopped off when I take the tape off. I want it to blend in there softly, and I don't want it to just look like the sky's chopped off there. Go ahead and lightly spraying it yellow here and there, and giving it that down angled look from the ship there, from the right side down to the left side there. And I'm finishing up spraying some of that yellow up in the sky. Just using the paint out of my airbrush. And then I'll be starting on the blue. Mm-hmm. Doesn't look like anything's coming out, does it? But it is. I think this is my first upload in about a full week and a half. So I wanted to give you quite a bit instead of 15 minutes or 20 minutes. So this is about 35 minutes long, I think. So I think I'm ready for the blue. So we'll be hitting that pretty soon. Spraying it in here and there real lightly, make them kind of like a little bit of an aqua teal greenish blue color there on the side there. Then we'll be adding in some tiny little waves in the background as we build up this blue. Water has all different kinds of colors in it that help it make it look like waves. Like if you see an ocean wave, sometimes if the sun's hitting it just right, you'll see a lot of greenish blue shining through that wave when the water is a deep blue. Might have heard my belly growl. Guess I'm hungry. I'm adding a little bit more blue up there in the sky, kind of getting that color. Right, and you can't really see it the way this glare is shining on the photo there. I apologize. I will fix that next time when I when I upload the next video. It will be fixed, and you'll see a better look at this ship here. Now I'm putting in the blue in the a deeper blue. Closer up, it will be bigger, and the distance, it will be tiny. I'm misting that blue first over, and then I'm going to start coming back and adding some little blue lines in there for waves. And as I come closer to the front of that ship, these lines and like wave will be bigger, and in the background where the line is of the ocean will be very tiny and very blurry. That's what gives you the distance look. And you see this tape I got off to each side of the ship. Those are actually waves that are coming out from the ship as it's sailing. So I taped those off because there's a lot of water splash in there, and I wanted to be able to get the bright white underneath. I know there's going to be some color in there from the waves, but I taped it off because I wanted to be able to get the brightest white that I could from the water splash. My dog Barney's sitting beside me as always. He's my guide, he's my companion. He comes with me when I paint anywhere, and everybody loves him. I got my airbrush angled off to the side so that this blue is just kind of spraying out and just going across, making little lines here and there. And then I'll be spraying a blue over top of that's darker blue to give it a brighter contrast tone. It's been dreary here in Indiana. Been raining a lot, so I'm just ready for warm weather. I've used my PS Creos 269 a lot, and 267, 270. And my 771. Those are about the only ones I had. I started out years ago with a Vega, and I used a Vega for years, and then I started trying the Iwata and stuck with the Iwata until someone just convinced me to try the Creos, because the Iwatas were just, I had like 4 or 5 of the Iwatas, and they were just getting, expensive to buy, and so I thought I'd try one. Really fell in love with this airbrush, and that's about all I buy anymore. I would like to try the Infinity. I've heard good and bad, but I just haven't went there yet because, as you know, they're expensive. But I don't mind paying for an airbrush that's going to do what you want it to do. For me, the Iwata Micron was a real down. I paid $500 for that airbrush, and to me, after thinking about it, does it really make sense that you put paint in a cup and then it has to go in the airbrush and then make a sharp turn to come out? To me, that doesn't make sense, but I don't know. I don't know if I got a lemon airbrush, but I've tried it 3 or 4 times. It just does not work for me like it does for everybody else. So, And I've taken it apart and I've cleaned it and soaked it and did everything I know to do to, if there was something tiny caught in there, to fix it. But no, it still sprays not as well as my 771, so I just stick with that. Matter of fact, I put that Awada away, and it now is in the case in the bottom of my drawer. I'll probably sell it one day, but I haven't yet. I'd still like to pull it out and see if, go over it and see if maybe there is something I missed. But you know, when you get a new airbrush like that, and I bought it from Drew Blair, but when you get a new airbrush, you would think it's brand new, so there really shouldn't be anything in there dried to, you would have to clean out, right? And they're supposed to be tested from the factory, so I don't know. And again, I'm just putting in some waves here and there. They're going to get littler as they go back into the back where the line starts for the ocean, and they're going to get bigger to the front. Just the process of building up color here. And you guys can continue to watch. I didn't cut this off in places because I just thought someone might want to watch the full video of it. I did cut sections out of it, but and I'm lifting up that piece of paper to get underneath there because it's the darkest right in this area here, and I'll probably make it even darker where the waves are cutting through, and the waves will be splashing out over the water there. It's real dark in that one area, and it guys, I think I'll speed this up a little bit so that you can continue to watch it. And I'm going to sign off, so thank you for watching this. Subscribe to my channel, please. Share my channel and give me a thumbs up. That helps grow my channel. That helps other airbrushers too to be able to learn and things. So thank you very much, and I will see you next week as I upload another one. I will probably upload at the end of this week, actually, to give you guys some more video since I was gone for a while. So there might be one Friday. Stay tuned. See you later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.